Hi everybody, it's time for October's virtual crop. And I gave you the sketch, let's see, it was yesterday early in the morning. And I have it right here with me. And we're gonna put this lovely sketch together, and I picked it because it had some different ideas in it, and I wanted you to be able to look at that and see what you wanted to do. So it's got these triangles in here. And so I didn't cut my triangles in half yet. I'm waiting to do that with you. But I've got all my paper cut and I'm ready to go. I used a piece of wood grain paper from Wonderful Day. And then a couple of weeks ago, we had an advisor special where we could buy some different papers. And I have a feeling this is one of the packs that we made for Japan, because it's very Japanese and it's beautiful. And so I ended up grabbing this for my paper, a blue and a dark blue, and then the back sides of those, and then the wood grain. So I'm not really using, and I'm not even going to try to say that, Hanayagi. That right there, that's my best shot. But it was kind of fun to get something just a little bit different. So we've got this sketch that's basically pretty easy to do, other than you might wonder how to put these triangles down. Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to leave out of this layout. The only thing I'm going to leave out are P and H, the two pieces that kind of border this photo. It's got a mat, it really doesn't need that, and we'll have a little room for embellishment then. And I have an embellishment tray full of different things to try. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is take those squares and cut them in half. Okay, so there are 1, 2 in one pattern, and I chose the back of this floral, and then 2 in another pattern, and I chose to use the wood grain. Now when I've got to do little squares like this to cut in half, I bring my ruler in, because I always end up missing the mark on the trimmer. But if you're really good at that, go use your trimmer. And I just put my ruler down and grab my fingertip knife, and there we go, they're cut in half. So easy to do that way. For me it is. If it's not easy for you, then don't do it, but that's the way it's easiest for me, is to just put that ruler down and get my fingertip craft knife and make sure that I've got it straight. It's a lot easier to hold this than it is for me to hold the trimmer too. So there I've got the 4 pieces that I need of this wood grain. So instead of having instead of having a reverse side and having different patterns all throughout, I'm just going to have these 2 patterns throughout. I really thought about that and kind of laid out some papers. And I really like what just these 2 patterns looks like. And so that's what I'm doing. So we're gonna go ahead and cut those, and then 1 more. And it's really fast doing it this way too. I always tend to do what's fastest for me. And this seems to be pretty fast. So, okay, there we go. I've got my triangles cut, and I want to measure now, because there's no dimensions as far as how high everything goes up on the page right here. So we really need to put that point of the paper down at the bottom and then measure. This is going to be a 2-inch measurement. I'm going to pull you down just a little bit when I'm doing close-up things. So this is going to be, well, it's actually 1 3/4, And so I think that that's how far up I will go with my main piece, is 1 3/4 inch from the bottom. Okay, so let's move these out of the way, and I'm going to grab my pieces for the left side. And I printed pictures too, so I'll be telling you what dimensions I did for that. Now the first thing, I'll bring you up again. It's so nice to have this thing that moves back and forth so easily. Okay. Let's get a little bit of masking tape down on the corners to hold me still. I just always think it makes me so much more stable to do that. And I don't like to put tape on the back. So, or any kind of adhesive. So we're gonna go ahead and put some masking tape right up here. Okay, and now I'm gonna grab my paper that's going to go 1 3/4 inches from the bottom. The other plus is that if you have your paper pinned down like this and it doesn't move, you don't even need a ruler to get this on there. You can go from side to side and you'll see it land in the right spot. So let's grab some adhesive. I'm using the Creative Memories repositionable, and this repositionable now will come in a green box, whereas the refills come in, all of the refills come in this blue box, but now they're going out in the green box. So we've made it through everything we need. So everything's going to have a different color, and that's going to help you identify a little bit more what you've got in the tape runner. I know I like that because even when I'm looking at the vellum, I've got my vellum in a blue and it's blue. It's sometimes hard for me to tell if it's vellum or if it's, and I know that this is white, but you know, I'm still learning. And this is the tape runner. So I'll be glad when everything is a different color. That'll make it much easier. Okay, so I've got my 1 3/4 or 1 3/4 from the bottom. This is 2.5 by 12. My next piece is 2 by 12. And look, doesn't that look so beautiful together? You can tell why I chose these papers, because they're really pretty for the pictures I have. And it just works really well together. I have a question for you tonight. So when you store your paper, most of you probably store it all together in one packet, right? So you have the whole packet in there. But once you get down to 1 or 2 sheets, what do you do with that paper? Do you keep storing it in its own container with the name on it, or do you mix it up and put it in with here, I want to try to straighten out a little bit, or do you mix it in with something that matches? I tend to go with whatever matches. Now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm a little bit, I should have gone up more than 1 3/4. Let's see if I can pick this up. I'll use my, because otherwise I'm coming straight off the mat and I don't want to do that. Oh, so easy with that repositionable. And this is the bright white cardstock that I'm using. I'm going to put just a little bit more adhesive on the corners to secure that. And I'm going to go up to 1 7/8 instead, just because I don't want the tip of those triangles to come off the paper. So getting back to the paper, I'm wondering if you had a piece of this blue left, would you put it in with this packet, or would you put it in something that matches? I would be more inclined to put it in something that matches. But I'm curious to hear what you would do. Now I'm going to go off the mat just a little bit with this first one. And then I'm going to go all the way to the other end and put, you may notice that I'm putting just a little bit of adhesive there so that I can pick it up if I need to. Okay, now we're going to go alternating, and this is going to go over. I've got a little piece of paper right there, little end on this. Let's cut that off with my craft knife. If you need a craft knife, get one of these Fiskars fingertips. They work the very best, and they don't tire out your hand. I'm going to put it about right there. I'm going to just put a little bit of tape, and I'll go back through and add a little bit more tape. But because I've not made this, I'm not quite sure how far to go with them, and so it's better just to put a little bit of adhesive in the middle and kind of measure the same distance. These are kind of fun patterns to do. Don't ever walk away from a pattern just because it looks difficult to you. Don't do that. Try it. Try it because you'll learn something new and it'll be fun. Now you notice the back of this is this floral, and I didn't want to use that because I wanted something completely different down in these triangles. And we're just going to keep going here. I might have to move them apart a little bit. I'm not sure. I may be moving them too close together. But I don't know yet. Because I've never made this pattern. So it's new to me too. And it is just a little bit different. Maybe I'll try going from the end here and giving these a little bit more width on them. It's okay to have to pull things up when you're working on something new. You just pull it up and move it over, and it's all going to be all right. It looks much thinner than this on the pattern. Do you see what I mean? It looks much thinner than that, but it's not. It's a little bit thicker, and once I have them all in place, I will share the width with you so that you don't have to figure this out. Now I'm going to where I'm a little bit off, so I'm going to go in a little bit more than that. Just a little bit more. This will be the hardest part. But it's going to make such an impact on your layout. And you can see by the time I'm pulling these off and moving them that I really don't have a lot of adhesive left on there at all because I took so little. I put so little on there. Now I think we're going to have it about right. Well, not we, me. I always tend to include you though in everything. So I'm not going to start off the page like the pattern shows. I'm going to leave it more like that, and that is about the right amount of width. So I'm going to go through now and put some adhesive, and then I'll measure it to tell you what it should be. I guess if you're working with it, you may want to know that right away. So let's take a look. It's about it's less than 7/8, but more than 3/4, 6/8. So it's right in between there in that 1/16 measurement. You can go about 3/4 of an inch. Try that. And I think that'll work for you. This is really a fun idea. I like this a lot. Oops, out of adhesive. Oh, so there I opened it up. When it turned red, I didn't have any more adhesive. So I opened it up and I've got one sitting right over here waiting. So I'm just going to take that one out and throw it away. And then put this one in, just like that. It just pops right in. And now I'm ready to go. It took me all of, what, 3 seconds to get that in there. Okay. Oh, those are pretty patterns together. If you ever need an extra sheet of paper, if you're putting something together and you just don't know what to use, always grab wood green. Because a good wood green is going to match everything. And that Wonderful Day package has a lot of great wood green in it. So you will be happy with whatever comes out with that. Alrighty. I think I went a little closer than with the rest of them. I want to make sure that there's enough on that corner so that it sits down. There, that's better. So you're making, this is the 2.5 inch squares. And you can use the reverse side if you want. And then what you'd have here, instead of 2 patterns, is 4 patterns. But once you see my photos and you see the embellishments that I chose, you'll know why I went with just 2 subtle patterns. That's what's great about these recipes, is that you can do pretty much what you want. Put a little adhesive on this corner. That's where I get fussy if things stick up. I don't want that to happen. Okay. This would be a great little boys page too. Okay, now the next thing we have is a bunch of borders on here. There's actually 3 different borders. So I've got C and K down already. This was C and this was K. Now T, A, and U are all borders. And so I've chosen some borders to use, and we'll see if that works out, what I've chosen. All right, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and put these photo mats down. And this is 2 different photo mats. This is a 4x6 photo mat, and a 4.5 by 6.5 photo mat. I should put my mat straight. I tend to work better when my mat is at an angle, but we'll put it straight for you. Now I've got some of this navy paper, and I put this one up upside down, so I'm going to make sure those are upside down. It doesn't matter which way they go as long as you put them the same way. Now for this, I really do want to measure. Make sure they're straight across. And it looks like 5 inches would be a good, I'm going to go down to 4 7/8. I think that's even better. Yep, 4 7/8. So I'll get this going and on there. Beautiful print on the back of this. Hi, Heidi. It's so nice to see you. And then we're going to do 4 7/8. And you saw that I switched to the tape runner. If I don't have to worry about something being repositionable, I'll go ahead and use that one. I think I might be a little bit crooked. Yeah, just a little bit on this one. Ooh, thank goodness it came up without any problems. One of my girls said to me the other day, and I think I saw her pop on this video, that this adhesive seems stronger than other adhesives. And I tend to agree with that. I think it's definitely stronger, and you don't have to use quite as much. And I've got the wood grain for the center of this. Isn't this all just, the colors are so pretty? Okay, and I've got my pictures, and I cut my pictures down to 4 3/4 or 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, so that they are just 1/4 of an inch smaller than this 4 by 6 mat. I especially like this white tape runner on the back of photos. I think it's really nice on them. Okay. I wonder if my mats are different sizes. No, I'm probably just looking at it different. Okay, so there I have my photos on there, and I have all the base work done. We're gonna come back and put borders on that, but we need to do a border for the next page too. And so I'm gonna go ahead and take this one off, and we'll do the next page. So let's let you see how that triangle border looks on there. But we need to punch some borders for on top of here. So let's do that second page. Alrighty. First thing I'm gonna do is put that tape down on the corners. Okay, and then there is a 1 inch piece of paper right at the top. Let's get that off of there. A 1 inch piece of paper right at the top, and I chose to use this floral. because it's the only thing tying in the floral from the other page. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. I want to make sure that I use that. And get that down. Okay, now we're going to need to make a border for that, 2 borders for up here. But in the meantime, let's put our photos down, okay? So these are very fun pictures. This was at our retreat this summer. We've been doing this retreat for years and years. I don't even know how many years. At different places. Places have closed, haven't worked out, things like that. But it's been a lot of years that we've been going. So we've got these photos here, and then I'm going to put this photo over here. I don't want that paper behind it. I want to give these a little bit more room to breathe. I don't think we need to cover our paper up all over with paper. I think that it's nice if we leave a little bit of breathing room and resting room. I guess that's the main thing, is resting room, so that the eyes can rest a little bit across the pages. And when there's paper everywhere, prints everywhere, it tends to take away from that. So now let's see. Put that back up there. Let's see. Make sure this is straight. I'm going to go about 1.5 inches from the bottom. And so I'm 1.5 inches from the bottom. And I'm going to be 2 inches. Let's see, let's make sure I can, no, 1 inch. Let's go 3/4 of an inch. Yep, 3/4 of an inch from the left and 1.5 inches from the bottom. That'll give you a really nice, even look on your photos. So 3/4 of an inch and 1.5. Now I'm going to put this one down, not this one, because I want this to be 3/4 of an inch from here. And I want it about, I'm going to put it at 3 inches. And 3/4 of an inch from the right side. Okay, so we're even from side to side, and now I can put this photo down without worrying that I'm not going to have the right amount of space over there for that photo. What you put between this photo and the bottom photo, that's completely up to you. A lot of times I'll try to do it the same as the distance between, you know, the 3/4 distance. But in this particular case, I have to remember that there's borders that need to go up here. And so I have to leave a little bit of room. And so now that we've got the photos on the pages exactly how I want them, I'm going to move this page too, and I'm actually going to take out some borders. So I brought in this decorative arches, this one, and I have the Elegant Moments, which are Elegant Diamonds, which I love. This is beautiful, and this is beautiful. And then I brought my border maker, the double scalloped ribbon, and the rickrack. Now I'm gonna try some of these and see what I think of them. I grabbed a piece of white shimmer paper. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in, oops. You open it up right here. and then you line it up with this line on the left. If you ever wonder how to do it, I just love this decorative arch done on shimmer paper. And bring it over, line it up, make sure this back is pushing against there. Isn't this a pretty punch? And lined it up there. Just a couple more punches to do. Okay, so now I've got that decorative edge. Let me show you what that looks like so you can see why I used it. I think it's just so pretty. I want to do it all the next part because here we have in this pattern, T and U are both the same border. And then it needs to have A on the inside, right? So I wanted to have one edge punched, and then I want to do the punch I'm going to put in the middle. And that's why I took out this blue shimmer. This is the navy shimmer. And I'm gonna get my border maker cartridge now and do this ribbon punch, this double scalloped ribbon punch. You tuck it in, make sure your ends are out because that's what lines up with the border maker. Remember, it lines up right in here. And I always like if I have less paper going in for the border maker. So I'm gonna cut this down. Really, the least I would ever cut it down is about 4 inches because I'll be able to use whatever scraps are left, but I wanna give myself enough room on the border maker so that it fits. You bring this out, remember, underneath, so that it fits in here. And if you get it too short, it's not gonna magnetize and hold still there for you. So I always say 4 inches is a good amount. Fold that under, and now your notches of your border maker can match the notches, or on the punch can match that. So I'm gonna line it up, and I'm just going to keep punching because this is the easiest punch system in the whole world. I don't think anybody else could make anything easier than that. It's so pretty and so perfect. So now I'm done with this, and that gives me a good scrap left over. Believe it or not, all of you that know that I throw away all my scraps, I never throw away shimmer paper. Never. And I didn't throw away any autumn cottage. I'm using it all up. So on this border that I'm making, where I want one end to be like the other, I want this in between. Okay, so that's going to go. You've got that piece that's going to go right there, this in the middle, and then I want another one of these on the edge. So let's see how far I'll cut that down. This gives me about, I need my ruler again. Here it is. When it punches, it gives me about 7/8 of an inch. So I want to cut this . This doesn't matter if this goes over the little circles. You can layer your punches like that. I just need about 7/8 in there. And so I'm going to measure that over. And now I'll take my white shimmer paper out. That's a good thing to get, shimmer paper. It's a good thing to have in your stash. Okay, now I'm going to line this up again. And if you're lining it up in the same place that you started the other one, you're not going to have any problems with it being off, right? Now let's pray that I put that in the right place. Oh, it's perfect. Okay. I just have a little excess on the end, but I'm just going to use my scissors to cut that off. And just keep punching this decorative. I think I was off on that one because I didn't make sure it was touching the top. Yep, that's what happened. So I got a little bit off on this one. So now I have to decide, am I going to redo it? Which I really would like to do because I wouldn't like it off that much. So this time I know what size paper to cut. And I'm going to cut a 2.5 inch strip and then do both sides. Making sure that I have that lined up. Isn't it a good thing I make mistakes? Oh, no, they're not mistakes. What they are is just lessons in learning things like that. Let's measure this one more time. I'm going to go with 2 1/4. Okay, let's do this again. Now, if you do make a mistake like I just did on that last one, by not holding the paper up and it gets a little bit off, save that and use it for a card, for goodness sake. Don't throw that away. That's too pretty, and it's done in shimmer paper. So let's make sure I have this in there properly. Okay, now I'll move it over, making sure I have that back lined up. Because that's what caused it to be off, is not having that back pushed in. Which you really have to pay attention to when you do the other side, because the other side can be very tricky that way. You're lining up something completely different. Okay. Oh, perfect. That worked out good. Push it back so that you don't do like me and have to do one completely over. So tell me what punches you're going to use on this page. I suppose it'll all depend upon your pictures. And then again, you may not want to use punches at all. You may just want to use torn strips or something like that on there. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's all done. I'm going to clean this off my mat so I don't have pieces all over the place. The other tricky thing was remembering that this is 2 inches right here. And so I didn't want this to overpower it completely. I wanted to be able to see that blue paper behind there. So getting that 2.5 inch, 2 1/4 inch piece worked out really well. And then putting this down right in the middle. Oh, you would be using that one with food truck, Teresa. Yeah, that's a good one. I've seen you use that a lot, and you're very creative with it. Okay. And we'll put some on the back here, and then I can use the white tape. And there it's down. So now I can take, if I want to, which I do, my little lifter tool and just go along that scallop and bring it up for a little bit of texture. And I can do the same thing under this if I want, bending it as I go so that it lifts up a little bit. That adds texture and interest to your page. And now I want to use these same punches on the other side. The only thing is I'm not going to use a double punch on the next page because it only calls for a single punch. And lucky me, I have this one punched that's already done on one side. So I can just cut this down and use this. I'm going to leave it at 1.5. Oh no, I got to go a little bit lower than that in order to cut the other side on. Hi, Kimberly. So I've got this. Let's grab the page. The other page. Look at, isn't that pretty? How can you even not like that one? That one is so beautiful. And then I'm going to grab that border punch again and the blue shimmer, the navy. Or maybe it's called Starry Night is what it's called. And I'll use that leftover piece that I had. Let's get this in here and then I'll lift up the bottom. Ooh, I was almost right on. Okay. Fold that down and let's go right in and punch this double ribbon border. And this is where I'll be able to tell if I left the right amount of paper on my other punch or if I want to cut that down a little bit. So you can see I've got this border up here and we're going to put this scalloped border right on top. I think I want to lift that up a little bit so it's not directly resting against the photo. So I'll bring that up just a little bit and let's go ahead and tape that down. And this is 1 inch, so let's say it's going to be 3 inches, and I'm measuring on the mat, or 3/4 of an inch. Measuring right on the mat to make sure it's straight. And then we'll put this one down right on top of it. This is a little thinner, so I'm going to use the repositionable. I don't have as much width space for tape, so that works much better. And I want that top scallop above so the blue paper is showing through. And now let's get this picker-upper tool. And I think it's called a pickup tool, but picker-upper is good with me. And put that up like that. And then go under this this border to lift it up just a little bit. Just bending it so you have just a little bit more interest in there. Now I'm going to set 2 mats out. Where is my other mat? So that you can see the pages side by side. Isn't that lovely? I might have to lift my camera up a little bit now because we're a little bit further away. So let's go ahead and move up. Remember, when you use this mint tape for holding your pages down, don't throw it away after one use. You have a lot of use left out of that. Okay? So I'm waiting for the video feed to catch up so that I know I'm putting my pages straight for you and getting them both in the camera. In the meantime, I'll catch up with what you've... Oh, a lot of you have been saying stuff. Oh, Teresa, you put patterns together in your... That's a good idea. Debbie, if you don't have a lot of paper left, I put it in your scrap bin to make cards. I leave it in the original package if you have more than that. And then, Heidi, you like the bottom of the page? Yeah, that's really nice. That pattern was good. And Annalise, you're not going to use punches? Okay. Trying to figure out how to straighten this out now that I've been working and it's all askew. Okay, now I have a tray of embellishments. I just grabbed a bunch of different embellishments. These were the same time I bought that paper, that Japanese paper, they had these embellishments on sale too. And it was an advisor special. And so I just picked up some different things so that I'd have. And then I've got some lime, tart, and butterscotch embellishments as well. I don't think I'll be needing this because I have enough borders, but that's really pretty, isn't it? So then I have all these other things, but I also brought out this Vicki Boutin title, Beautiful Memories. And I wanted to see if I could fit that on here somewhere. I need to look at that in the camera to see if it's in the right placement, so I'm waiting till I catch up. It's not going to work right there. Let's see, it's just a little bit big. The putziest part, right? Getting your titles on and getting your embellishing done. Oh, I might like it down here. And then again, I might just use Just Beautiful over here or over here. Oh, that's nice up there. Let me catch up and see what that looks like in the camera. I'm not liking how big this is. I think we're gonna take that Beautiful off, and I think we're just gonna use Memories. And I liked Memories down there because it fit really nice. Yeah, that fits really nice. So now I'm gonna grab the vellum tape because this is acetate, and I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive, vellum adhesive on the back of this. You can also use tiny glue dots if you want. And I'm not sure how this will work. I'm gonna try it. Vellum tape is so good at not showing through. And it does show through just a little bit, but I'm okay with that little tiny bit. I just really want that down. Okay. Now I've got the rest of the page to work on. And I have Wonderful Day. Oh yeah, that's nice right there. Love this. And we've got some floral pieces. I want to build something floral right over here. And I think I'll take out that green and blue one. And there's another green one. And I think I'll build something floral. We'll use one of these big green roses, and I'll put those down afterwards. Kind of put it right in the middle of that. The green is really nice, bounces off all of these colors really nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and put some thin 3D foam tape. By the way, when I was at Creative Memories on Monday, and I talked to them about the value of 1mm foam tape. And if you can imagine, I was shocked. No one's ever suggested that before. So that was interesting to me. This was scraps from some thin tape from scrapbook.com. So we may very well see that nice thin $1mm. You don't get something unless you ask for it. So I'm not afraid to ask to make sure that we have the right things for creating, right? I think that's really important. And what kind of flower should we have up there? It would only stand to reason that I would go with green again. But that's not the right color green. Maybe because I need something a little more. No, I don't want to use yellow. I want to use green. That works better, the little bigger flower. So I'm going to go ahead and put that leaf down first. Embellishing is nothing we do quick. Embellishing is something that takes a little bit of time. When I said that embellishing isn't something we do quick, did some of you go, yeah, no kidding? Because I know you and I know what you're thinking. And sometimes, you know, for me, getting the base of the layout done and then having the ability to just sit and play and put different things on there is part of the joy of it for me. And I know some of you love getting the bases together and then end up, you know, just really freezing when it comes to embellishing. When what you really need to do is just make sure that there's balance and flow. Now I've got this over here and this down here. I'm still deciding if I want this right here. So it goes across and then we have it across there. I think that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Is make sure that we have a couple of different ways of looking at this. Okay? And don't be afraid to put things right on photos. If you have a little bit of space up there, don't worry about adding to it because it's really very pretty when you do. Now I'm just gonna look for some leaves to add in. find that one that I had already. I don't know where I moved it to. It could be sitting right in front of me and I'm just not seeing it. Yep, here it is. And I've got another green leaf. And I'm just going to start tucking, okay? I think I might want something coming out of there. Embellishing is I wouldn't say it's learned, but what you learn while you're embellishing is the ability to keep balance in your layout. There's a whole different feel that goes on if you just put a leaf here and a leaf there and a leaf there. Now that wouldn't look very good, would it? What you have to do is you have to always be tucking. That's a good way to look at it. Always be tucking. Oh, that's pretty down there. I regret that I only bought one package of those. Now, because I've got a little bit of blue there, I'm going to put this blue up on that one. Balance it out just a little bit. There we go. And then this leaf calls for tucking. It's a heart of 2 leaves, but it calls to be tucked. So I may not use that because I don't really need anything more in there. And so I'm not going to use that one. And I really don't think I need these either. I really want the eye to travel that way. So let's try it. I can put some repositionable down so I can remove it if I don't like it. And I'm going to roll that leaf up a little bit. And then grab this one. And maybe put over here. And I think that's okay. I'm going to leave it at that, except that I'm going to grab my gems and put some gems down. This is a really beautiful pattern. And for those of you that keep your strips of paper like I don't always do, what will look nice here? We just got to get some different colors. Ooh, some of those colors might look pretty. Here we have some greens and blues. I have so many embellishments from so many places, you guys, that I have a lot of choices. I think I might take the blues off of here and the greens off of there. These came from Honeybee. Once in a while when I need gems, I just go to Honeybee and buy my gems. But I also talk to Creative Memories about the necessity of gems on a page. So maybe we'll see some of those things too. You never know what could happen. I like these silver ones next to the blue. So I'm going to grab some of those. And work in odd numbers. Always put, if you're going to have 4, then you need to have 5. No, but usually what I work in is 3s. Don't know if I'll use the green. I really like these. And gems just add that little bit of extra goodness to a page. They just leave it in a way that makes you think, oh, that gem is pretty there. That's why I like gems. So I don't think we need any more than that. Now, my journaling, I've left a couple of spots for journaling. I have journaling room across here, and it wouldn't be unlike me to journal up the side, across the top, and down the next side. I also have a nice journaling space right here, and so I can also do that as well. But in the meantime, I have a set of gorgeous pages done with a bunch of gorgeous women that I love so much. And so it's really a win-win for me to do these crops with you. I hope you take advantage of them. Let's do something fun here. Let's find my very last bits of Bitty Sparkles. I don't know why I didn't buy 200 packages before Close to My Heart left us. But that's okay. I'm going to put those bitty gems in the center of those green roses. Just to add a little bit more. And you've followed me for years. Most of you, you know how I feel about bitty gems. They just really finish off a page nicely. Okay. Alrighty. That's it for me. It's an hour later. I did pretty good. I kept that within an hour, even with all the decisions and duplicate punching I had to do. But I can't wait to see what you do. Now, if more than 10 people play along, then I will give away a $50 Creative Memories credit. And if less than 10 play, I'll do a $25 Creative Memories credit. Now, I'm going to give you an extra day. You do not have to have this done by tomorrow night at 6:30. It is Wednesday. I'm going to give you till Friday night at 6:30. So you will actually have 2 days. And the reason I wanted to do that is because you're going to have to think about your punches and your borders and your pictures and all of that kind of stuff. So I wanted to give you 2 days to get this done. So there you go, 2 days, 10 people play, it'll be a $50 credit, and wow, who wouldn't love that? I love when I have $50. So you guys just go and create and choose things and have a good time. I'll put a picture of this up in the comments so that you can have it for reference, and it'll most likely be posted on my business page too. All right, you guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.